Part of the fun of the human experience includes these things called downloads. A download occurs when the universe pieces itself together within you, and a new, fully formed insight is presented to your being. A download represents learning being downloaded into your operating system. A download usually manifests like a lightning bolt. Up above, the pieces circle around, then all of a sudden, they clink together, and your body is bolted with an electrical understanding of the freshest order. I was sitting in a room this past Saturday, made for a king, otherwise known as the guest suite at the Engels house, when a download spawned out of the ether and found itself within me. Today, I'm going to share that download, what it is, and why that download is so important. Please close your eyes. Now, you can hear my voice. And at the end of this sentence, we're going to spend 5 seconds in silence, and you're just going to listen and observe to all of the noises going on around you. Good. Now, bring your awareness to your breath. Notice your inhale and notice your exhale. Keep your eyes closed. On Saturday, part of my download included taking the absolutely deepest breaths of my entire life. I felt muscles within my stomach awaken like a dormant volcano rumbling back to life. My breathing system was turning on. On your next inhale, aggressively breathe in using only your stomach. You shouldn't feel anything in your nostrils. Stretching the muscles within your breathing system, deep down. It might hurt a bit. That's fine. When you're doing a bicep curl, it hurts a bit too. Now, do this again, still only using your stomach. The muscle you might be feeling is your diaphragm, located just above your stomach. An underperforming diaphragm, which results in shallow breathing, can result in many issues. It's a long list. They include lower oxygen levels in the blood and lower CO2 levels, decreased energy production, which tells you really all you need to know about the importance of the breath, poor concentration and memory lapses, increased cardiac workload, which strains the heart over time, metabolic stress and dysfunction, decreased organ function, weakened immune function, poor quality of sleep and sleep complications, and an activation of the sympathetic nervous system, signaling the body to remain in a state of stressed fight or flight, as Jazzy Daz touched on, which compounds all of these problems and more. Open your eyes. The breath is foundational to every single human being that will ever exist. It is one of the very few things that is with you from the very beginning to the very end. Understand how important and critical that makes the breath. And realize if the breath is suffering, you are suffering. If the breath strengthens, you strengthen. I have an addiction. I'm addicted to something called most optimal. Whether it's the game of poker, where to save my money, what to put in my body, or how to speak, I want to do it most optimally. Breathing has been a part of this exploratory addiction. For almost 4 years now, I've stumbled across various breathing techniques and methods, all preaching a different type of breathing madness. But it wasn't until I read this book called Breath, you can imagine what it was about, by James Nestor, where I learned about the Buteyko breathing method. And since that moment, it has spoken to me on a deep, unignorable level. The method is quite simple. Remember LSD. Just pop a tab of LSD and you're good. In fact, I have a few if you would like right now. Just kidding. LSD. Light, slow, and deep. Light, slow, and deep. Breathe, inhale, and exhale a light amount of air. Back in old day Japan, samurais were not allowed to go into battle if a feather placed under their nose ruffled on their exhale. Don't ruffle the feather, breathe light. Breathe slow. Of course, you want to breathe slow. Breathing fast isn't going to help you relax and be at ease. And lastly, breathe deep, as you felt when your eyes were closed. Breathe all the way down into your stomach, down to your root chakra. Really stretch and activate your diaphragm. Great. We can breathe better, but that wasn't the download. The download wasn't about breathing deeply for the first few times in my life for the Buteyko method. It was about putting these things together into practice in conjunction with something else. There's two parts to the practice. There's breathing and there's meditating. Meditation is the practice of being. There are many different forms of meditation, but the most fundamental form involves no doingness, only beingness. You sit and you be. The thoughts go by, the noises surround, the itch awakens, and you just want to move your hand, give it a scratch. But you observe like you would sitting by a river, watching the current flow. I ask you to close your eyes again. Find a comfortable position. Human doing or human being? Beingness is your natural state. Just like the breath, it is with you from the very start to the very end. Beingness has no definition other than itself, much like you. Now, there's a question often posed by a man named Peter Crone. He's a British chap. Who would you be in the absence of your story? If you removed all of the narratives, all of the labels, all of the judgments, all of the concepts, all of the limited beliefs, all the guilt, the shame, all of the woulds and coulds and shoulds, if you let go of the story, who would you be? What would remain? It's that word, be. You'd simply be. Now, there's a state of being that feels harmonious and blissful. It's called flow. You may have felt it before, playing a sport, watching a great movie, having a super engaging conversation, cooking your favorite dish, or plenty of other things. The point is, you enter into a state of flow when the activity you're participating in absorbs you so much that everything else disappears. In a state of flow, magic takes place. Time often passes strangely. You feel almost invincible, but you don't even really know it. You're too presently absorbed in this moment. Creativity skyrockets. You feel weightless. Your sense of self dissolves. The flow is harmonious and blissful. Now, I have good news and bad news. Open your eyes. The bad news is that the brain's default mode is the opposite of this flow state. The mode is aptly named the default mode network. This default mode network is responsible for excessive rumination, negative self-reflection, worry, dwelling on the past or the future. It's our self-referential brain. And this is the mode that attaches onto that voice in your head. Some people have an overly active default mode network, which prevents them from fully accessing the nectar of flow. The good news is that we can balance and down-regulate this default mode network like turning down the volume of a song. Can anybody guess how we can train this down-regulation and turn down the volume? What can we do?
Breathing.
Meditation.
Bang and bang.
LSD.
LSD too. Triple crown. Wonderful. Now I ask you to close your eyes once more. I'm going to slip a tab of LSD into your mouth, please. No, but this is right now the state of beingness. You're just being. You're in the flow state right now. There's no story. You're fully absorbed in the present moment. The flow is your being, and your being is the flow. There's a complete non-resistance, a full surrender, an unconditional acceptance, and a dropping of all desire. You're just being. That's all you have to do, is just be. That's all you've been doing anyways. Open your eyes. The more you meditate, the more you tap into that harmoniously blissful, natural state of beingness. That sounds pretty rad to me. On Saturday, the download pieced itself together and found itself within me. The download is every day, first thing in the morning, you practice breath work and you meditate. You access the natural state of beingness and flow. How long you do each, that's up to you. But remember, if the breath strengthens, you strengthen. And the more you meditate, the more you tap into that blissful state of flow. The point is, the foundation of your life centers around your breath and your being. You have the opportunity to train both of these absolute eternal truths to your existence every single day, first thing in the morning, before anything else happens. You're starting your day fine-tuning and upgrading the very foundational things that make up your entire life from the very beginning to the very end. The foundation of your day builds the foundation of your life. Breathing and meditating. Mr. Toastmaster.